You're watching ESPN's Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's. This is the Big 12 on ESPN. And tonight, our Big Monday matchup has big-time NCAA tournament ramifications. It's West Virginia hosting Oklahoma State. Welcome to Morgantown. Alongside Chris Patola, I'm David Salzman. Just how big is this game for both teams' NCAA tournament hopes?
Well, it's massive. First of all, both of these teams are on the bubble, so when you play teams that are on the bubble with you, you got to beat those teams. For West Virginia, you're playing at home, coming off a home loss to Texas Tech. That was really disappointing, I think, for that program. And then for Oklahoma State on the road to get a win like this, you'd recover from that TCU loss, and it would keep you on the right side of that bubble.
Joe Lenardi has both our teams on the right side of the bubble, but not by much. Pokes, one of the last four byes. West Virginia, one of the last four in. Bob Huggins Mountaineers could use the win tonight as we are just 20 days until Selection Sunday. Oklahoma State 7-7 in the Big 12, but coming off two losses to Kansas and TCU when they gave up the most points they have in any game this season. And you mentioned the West Virginia loss here Saturday. They led by 8 in the second half against Texas Tech, let it slip away. Mountaineers have lost 3 straight and just 4-10 in the league. Eric Stevenson paced West Virginia in the loss to Texas Tech. He and Keidrian Johnson had 47 of the Mountaineers' 72 points. Bob Huggins telling us earlier today he needs more balance, especially from his big men. Oklahoma State 16-11 overall, looking to get back to over 500 in Big 12 play. Rematch of a Cowboys win in Stillwater back on January the 2nd. Cowboys have the opening tip, and we are underway from Morgantown. Three of Oklahoma State starters with 40 or more three-pointers. They go inside to Caleb Boone, and big Jimmy Bell Jr. able to knock the ball away. It leads to an Oklahoma State foul. Caleb
Boone has played so well. He did not play well in their game against TCU over the weekend. I thought TCU was physical with him. Caleb Boone, when you start to play well in this league, you become a target. He's moved up that scouting report, and that big body of Jimmy Bell having an impact on that first possession.
Jimmy Bell Jr. just had 1 point Saturday in the loss to Texas Tech, part of the Mountaineer starting 5. Foul was on Bryce Thompson for Oklahoma State. Still Mountaineer basketball.
Both these teams similar defensively. They're very physical. They're going to pressure the basketball. They're going to deny one pass away. They're trying to put you on your heels.
Mike Winton's Cowboys ran into a buzzsaw on TCU Saturday. Mike Miles returned from injury for the Horned Frogs, Big 12 preseason player of the year. All TCU did was run up 100 in a runaway win over Oklahoma State 2 days ago. Keidrian Johnson drives, finds Bell to the rim, swat from behind by Woody Newton, but a foul.
Oklahoma State foul called at number 22.
West Virginia plays a three-headed monster at that big position, and this was not defended well.
At the free throw line for the
As
Mountaineers,
Bell just able to run really uncontested to the front of the rim.
It was Newton that got his hand on the ball, but Caleb Boone picks up the foul. And Bell puts West Virginia on the board. Much has been made about the hard work that he has put in since arriving to West Virginia from Moberly Area Community College. Weighed 365 when he arrived here. He's dropped 80 pounds. Already has doubled the scoring output from Saturday, and the first 2 points of the game to West Virginia. I mentioned 3 of Oklahoma State's 5 starters with 40 or more three-pointers. John Michael Wright leads the way with 54, hitting 38% from beyond the arc. One of, if not the best defensive player in the league, Musa Cisse now comes off the bench for the Pokes. Woody Newton for 3. Johnson and Stevenson, both fifth-year seniors. Mentioned their 47 points combined Saturday, not enough. Stevenson, his first shot, connects. That's what Bob Huggins wants to see. Took 21 shots to score his 27th Saturday in Kansas first tonight.
Well, he wants to see it if it goes in. I mean, Eric Stevenson's a tough shot taker, and sometimes it can get you into trouble, but he can really cook when he's got it going.
Bryce Thompson, 49th three of the season, much like John Michael Wright, hitting 38% from beyond the arc coming in, and the Cowboys are on the board. Trey Mitchell's first shot. Newton the rebound.
Mitchell, another guy who has really struggled since their game at Texas. He's too talented to not play well for them, although there he is, fight on a block.
And Caleb Boone picks up this foul. It is 2 early fouls for the senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State's leading scorer coming in.
Checking into the Cowboys, number 33.
And that's not the start you want if you're Mike Boynton Jr. You know, you bring in Musa Cisse, who's certainly talented, much more of a defensive presence, but you lose that ability to score on the block with Boone not in the game. He's been the best in the Big 12 at doing that this season, Caleb Boone.
Cisse, last year's Defensive Player of the Year in the league, 49 blocks this season. Has not started since hurting his ankle against West Virginia on January 2nd. Cisse gets the rebound off the Emmett Matthews miss. Caleb Asbury for 3, well short. Mountaineer basketball. Bob Huggins, second winningest head coach in Division I college basketball behind Jim Boeheim, third winningest head coach in history, 931 wins, inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame last year. Time flies, 16 seasons now for Huggins as a head coach here. He played here and is from Morgantown. He told us, I am frustrated, our team is frustrated after dropping the lead to Texas Tech on Saturday. Still Mountaineer basketball, 10 to shoot. In fact, Chris, he was open about his frustration with his team in the postgame press conference Saturday after they lost that 8-point late lead. Under 5 to shoot, Stevenson fires for 3. Oklahoma State ball.
It's a very streaky team shooting the basketball, West Virginia. You know, if Stevenson's got it going, they need Emmett Matthews to play better. You know, he and Trey Mitchell did not play well in that Texas Tech game.
Matthews, almost 1,200 points in his career, with under 10 points a game this season. Stevenson, the tip of the Asbury pass. 4-3 is for now the correct score. We're told they'll review the Eric Stevenson field goal during our first time out. And whether it was a 3, well-traveled, played at South Carolina last season. Before that, Washington and Wichita State. Team's leading scorer coming in. John Michael Wright, his first 3. Pokes are 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. All their field goal attempts from long range so far tonight. Mitchell spins on Newton and scores.
You know, the thing with Oklahoma State, you mentioned the threes early in this game. They have become a little bit of a volume three-point shooting team. Good cut there.
Back to her feet, Thompson, Cisse the assist. Thompson all 5 of the Cowboy points so far. Keidrian Johnson, yes, from long range.
Johnson for 3.
Wright finds Cisse, who's fouled.
West Virginia foul called on number 3.
Oklahoma State looking to sweep West Virginia for the first time in 4 seasons. Musa Cisse's Cowboys down 4.
On the court.
ESPN. Big Monday from Morgantown with Chris Patola. I'm David Salzman. The score is correct. They've added a point to the Mountaineers total during our timeout as they rule that Eric Stevenson's field goal early on in this contest is a 3 for his first 3 points of the game. West Virginia by 5. Both feet behind the line. Eric Stevenson just over 14 points a game coming in, second on the squad in steals. Has been awfully good at home the last few weeks. Mr. Cisse just 42% from the line coming in, but cool when collected on the first. So valuable to this team, Chris. Cowboys are 7-3 in Big 12 play when Cisse plays.
Yeah, he's incredibly talented.
1 of 2. Stevenson takes the rebound away. Four Mountaineers have scored in the first 4+ minutes. Looking inside for Bill, but it hits Bryce Thompson, and here comes Asbury. Thompson for 3, in and out. Stevenson pulls up, well short. John Michael Wright has started every game in his college career, and the assist to Cisse in the flush.
And with that smaller lineup that Mike Boynton has gone to, and he's had to do it in this game with Caleb Boone in foul trouble, there's a lot more spacing on the floor because you have more shooters around. Now without Avery Anderson, they've become a little bit, they're shooting a lot more threes than they were with him in the lineup, but the spacing much better for that high pick and roll.
Here comes Wright again. A couple of assists already tonight, over 300 in his career. Also 500 career rebounds and approaching 1,800 career points. He was a star at High Point before moving over to Stillwater. And here buries the jumper to tie things up.
It's a guy who really had to adjust his game when he got here. Was much more, as you said, a scorer in his time at High Point. He's been the point guard here directing their offense, but he's increased his scoring in the absence of Avery Anderson.
10 points a game for the season coming in, and as you said, much better the last few weeks after Avery Anderson went down with the wrist injury. Wright and Cisse getting it done for the Pokes.
Team foul number 4.
That's where you get that high ball screen in the middle third. You got Woody Newton spaced in the corner. You've got Caleb Asbury spaced. And when Cisse gets a dunk rolling on the previous possession, that's going to open up that nice little pull up there for John Michael Wright, who is really, he's been his best over their last 5 games. He's really become much more of an aggressive scorer with Anderson out of the lineup.
Also checking in, Seth Wilson.
John Michael Wright, senior from Fayetteville, North Carolina. And as you mentioned, Avery Anderson, the third, scoring 11 points a game before he hurt his wrist February 1st. And John Michael Wright's almost doubled his scoring average since Bryce Thompson, Caleb Asbury have also upped their scoring average.
I think there's 2 areas where they miss Anderson. First of all, driving the basketball. He was not a perimeter shooter, but he added another ball handler, could really drive the ball. And then defensively, he would get the assignment of the other team's best perimeter player. I think they have missed him defensively.
Yeah, Mike Boynton told us earlier today, we don't give up 100 at TCU or 89 to Kansas the last 2 games if Avery Anderson's on the floor. Kedrian Johnson picks up the foul.
Fouls whistled on Kenny Johnson. Picks up his first. Team foul number 2.
It's been an interesting thing to watch. You know, I do think the ball is moving better because I think when you have Anderson and Thompson out there together, you can have 2 ball stoppers. And in this league, against these defenses, I think the ball needs to move. But there are areas where they have certainly missed Anderson.
For the lead, Wright well off from 3. Cisse out of bounds. So far, the Cowboys have not been shy from beyond the arc. Although they've missed 5 of their 6 from long range, they're 3 of 3 from inside the arc so far. And there's Avery Anderson, the third, out indefinitely, had wrist surgery on February 8th. You see that good-sized cast over his left wrist. Had scored in double figures in 5 of his last 6 games before getting hurt. But as we saw the graphic a moment ago, his teammates have done the job, offensively at least, since he's been out. They do miss him on that defensive end. James Okonkwo feeds Matthews, under 10 to shoot. Johnson from long range. Thompson on the run, Cowboys with numbers. Cisse moves in on Okonkwo. Now from the baseline, well short.
Not open. That's 2 post passes. Keedy Johnson's tried to throw, and the post player's not open.
Pokes give it right back. Chris Harris Jr. steps out of bounds.
And you've got to be able to move the defense on the weak side. I mean, it's basically Keedy Johnson with the ball, trying to feed the post, and the entire Oklahoma State defense is just loaded up. And it's 2 post passes now. Keedy Johnson's tried to throw, and the player's not open. And just because you have a mismatch, or think you do, with Mitchell on Bryce Thompson, it's not there. And a really nice defensive play to get in front by Thompson.
Johnson has both West Virginia turnovers so far. He handles the ball here with right covering. Both these teams looking to break losing streaks. On the right side of the bubble, according to Joe Lenardi, but could use a win tonight. Seth Wilson, tough shot. Johnson chases it down, drives, scoop shot off the glass and in.
But that's what he has started to do. He has really scored the ball for a West Virginia team that is searching for guys to put the ball in the basket. Very good when he can get it downhill into that paint.
Johnson with half the Mountaineer points so far. Tyreek Smith forces it up. Second chance, 2 and a foul. As he muscles it up over Okonkwo.
Foul whistled on James Okonkwo. His first, team foul number 3.
Keedy Johnson has done a really nice job. Bob Huggins telling us today he thinks he's the best guard in the league. He's really starting to score the ball. Just been really solid for this West Virginia team. And how about Tyreek Smith? Going to have to play some minutes here in this first half with Caleb Boone in foul trouble.
Be rocking game day from Iowa City on Sunday. Indiana at Iowa. Hoosiers 26-1, just close to share their big first 10 regular season title in 40 years. But Caitlin Clark, all she's done this season, 27.5 points a game, over 8 assists per contest. She also leads the team in rebounds, steals, and blocks. That should be fun on Sunday. Maybe not unexpected, Chris Patola. Kedrian Johnson's hot start here tonight, 7 points. He's been so much better here in Morgantown versus on the road.
Yeah, he's been really good for them, absolutely. And has gotten progressively better. Just been really solid. You know, a guy who's handled the ball for them. He's got good positional size, good length.
Cowboys come out in a trap, and it leads to a West Virginia timeout. After giving up 189 in their last 2 games, this score much more to the Pokes' liking so far. Well, fun Big 12 matchup right now in Morgantown, but what a great matchup in Fort Worth. Big one in the Big 12, 9 Eastern over on ESPN. Jalen Wilson and number 3 Kansas take on Mike Miles and number 24 TCU. Again, 9 Eastern on ESPN and the app. What a difference Mike Miles made in his return from injury, helping TCU to score 100 on Oklahoma State 2 days ago. And earlier this season in Lawrence, TCU went up to Allen Fieldhouse and whipped the Jayhawks 83-60. But Chris, Kansas may be playing their best basketball of the year coming into tonight. Here, both these teams looking to break losing streaks. Oklahoma State's lost 2 straight, West Virginia 3. Tyreek Smith misfires. Okonkwo with the rebound. Mitchell on the much smaller right takes advantage.
And they're getting those mismatches early. You know, we saw Mitchell with Bryce Thompson on him a couple possessions before, and then there, even more of a size differential between Mitchell and John Michael Wright.
Wright drives, got his own rebound. Chris Harris for 3. Oklahoma State will get a 3rd chance. Trey Mitchell, 4 points in the early going.
Number 1, Bryce Thompson checks back in for the Cowboys.
You just get that mismatch early in the possession, early offense as Mitchell runs down to the block. And there he shows you the skill set. I mean, just really a talented guy. Will hit a face-up shot out to 3. Good on the block, good passer. Hasn't played well of late. They need him.
Nice feed right, finding Smith. Misfires this time, but to the line again. The junior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana will go. Okonkwo just picked up his second.
You know, Tyreek Smith, a guy who was in the starting lineup while Musa Cisse was out. And I think this Oklahoma State program really kind of hit rock bottom in that game on the road at Baylor, a game in which the lights went out in the arena. They had about a 15-minute break while the lights were coming back on, and Mike Boynton met with his team and said, we're gonna change, we're gonna get better. And it started with some lineup changes. And part of that was going a little bit smaller, putting Woody Newton in at the 4. And I give Mike Boynton a lot of credit. This team really started to play well, and then you run into Kansas at home. Kansas, obviously a good team, and then a buzzsaw with a TCU team that got Mike Miles back over the weekend.
And before those 2 straight losses for the Cowboys, they won 5 in a row, 4 in Big 12 play.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. They were playing really well.
Under 10 to shoot. Seth Wilson pulls up off the glass. Sophomore his first 2. Johnson dives, saves. Wilson from long range. Taken away by Thompson. Thompson drives. No whistle. Wilson takes it away, and after all that chaos, Mountaineers slow it down. Their lead still 4. Mountaineers have hit 3 of their last 4. Under 5 to shoot. Wilson drives. Ball poked away. Both teams scrapping on both ends. Oklahoma State has missed their last 4 shots, and they're 1 of their last 8. Just down 4 with under 9 in the first half. Under 10 of the shot clock. Wright pushes off. Senior picks up the foul.
And this is the impact Keedy Johnson can have. Just really solid defensively. I don't know if his feet are there. I don't know if he's necessarily in a legal guarding position. But they are really good at pressuring the ball. And again, he's got really good length when he's on there. And then you come in with Joe Toussaint, who replaces Johnson, who's also really good on the ball.
Toussaint wearing number 5, 10 points a game. Here's Stevenson. Good job, Newton, to stay in front of him. Toussaint, lob, slam dunk. Mohamed Wagui, his first 2. Biggest lead for either team is 6.
Should try Wagui out as a punter. Not only did he dunk it, he punted it into about the 15th row.
Hitting 73% of his shots coming in, although that dunk one of his easiest of the year. Thompson's pass tipped away by Kobe Johnson. Six Mountaineers have scored so far. Matthews, though, scoreless. Toussaint drives. Another lob, Wagui. Another dunk. Timeout,
just breaking down the defense with the dribble and allowing Wagi to go to work. And it's interesting, Mike Boynton comes in with Caleb Boone, the 2 fouls, and he's playing Moussa Cisse and Boone together, and yet West Virginia still having its way. Cisse helping up, not using that length, playing small. And how about Wagi? Try him out as a punter, or maybe a soccer player.
Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 basketball fans. Our featured game, Wednesday, March 1st. Keontae Johnson and number 14 Kansas State hosts Oklahoma, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. If you're a Big 12 fan, you gotta have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now. Well, down the stretch we come. Chris Patola in Big 12 play. Kansas and Texas, 10-4. They'll meet in the regular season finale in just under 2 weeks. There's Kansas State at 8-6, getting a much-needed win over Iowa State a couple of days ago.
That was about as good a half of basketball as we've seen a team play, Kansas in the second half against Baylor. And it was about as good a half as we've seen from a team, the way Baylor played in the first half. And then I had Texas at home against Oklahoma on Saturday. The team, you know, Oklahoma is starting to play better, and those are kinds of wins sometimes you got to have at home.
Newton had the ball in his hands for a moment. Toussaint takes it away after the Asbury miss. West Virginia can go up double figures. It's Mitchell firing. Tie up as it's Wagi taking Cisse down. Mountaineer basketball.
Tell you, Wagi's giving them good minutes. Part of that three-headed monster. You know, got Jimmy Bell, James Okonkwo, and Wagi, and you know, Bob Huggins outside of starting Jimmy Bell kind of goes, rides the guy who's given him the most productive minutes. Comes back with Bell, but it's been a good first half for Wagi.
Mitchell all alone for the pass from Toussaint, and West Virginia's up 10. Oklahoma State 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. Tough pass from Cisse. Mitchell. Still West Virginia ball.
You know, turnovers have been a problem all year for Oklahoma State. They don't really have a point guard. And then with Avery Anderson out of there, you take away kind of a secondary ball handler. And they've been an issue early here. You know, led to some runouts. They've helped facilitate a West Virginia offense that can struggle to score at times.
Stevenson, yes. His second field goal.
And you're getting really good balance from West Virginia. A lot of guys contributing in this first half.
Right. Foul called. Gary Maxwell calls it on Toussaint. How surprised are you by this 12-point edge right now for the Mountaineers?
I'm not surprised. They're playing at home. They're very good defensively. Their defense has had an impact, and you've got an Oklahoma State team that's looking still a little shell-shocked about being blown out on Saturday.
Toussaint called for 2 quick fouls.
These are desperate times, man, and games at home, especially if you're West Virginia coming off a game, they let go. I mean, they were up 8 with about 8.5 minutes to go against Texas Tech. Had some issues on some free throw blockouts down the stretch. They had some looks for Eric Stevenson and just couldn't pull it out. They needed to come out tonight like a desperate team.
So far getting much better balance. 6 players have scored. Another miss from beyond the arc. Pokes are 1 of 9 now from long range. Stevenson drives, spins, fires, in and out. Johnson for 3. Cisse called for the walk.
Well, and Mike Boynton wanted a foul. It was hard to tell from here, but I tell you, if you're Moussa Cisse, you got to be a little bit stronger in the legs, man. You can't go down that easily. I mean, he collapses like a folding chair, and that's a foul. I mean, they clearly missed a foul.
Stevenson from the corner. It's a 13-0 run.
From Joe Toussaint.
Thompson with the left hand. The drop continues. Pokes have missed 10 of their last 11. Toussaint for three. Under 5 minutes in the first half remaining. Oklahoma State with just 14 points. Asbury looks to change it.
I mean, both of these offenses are bailing out the defense with these long threes early in the shot clock.
Stevenson finds Mitchell. Going in on the smaller Harris. Cisse the swat. Last year's Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. Now with over 50 blocks this season. 5 to shoot.
Also checking in number 13, Keon Logan.
Both teams on the right side of the bubble, according to Joe Lenardi. They could use this one, especially the Mountaineers. Shot clock winding down. Ball poked out to Stevenson. Fires for three, and that's how it's gone in the first half for West Virginia. Brandon Tilley blows the whistle. The shot clock reset after the miss before the ball was poked back to Stevenson. And I wonder, Chris, if they're going to look to see if that shot before the Stevenson make hit the iron.
If you give West Virginia extra looks and the offensive glass becoming an asset for West Virginia, this one just bounces back into Stevenson's hands, and he's not shy, folks. He's also wet.
Okay. All right.
(32-14), the West Virginia lead over Oklahoma State, and Gary Maxwell telling us just a moment ago that they will count the Eric Stevenson three, that his first attempt did glance the iron, so shot clock resetting was the right call. And Stevenson's three, Chris Patola, has West Virginia on a 16-0 run.
It's been turnovers, Oklahoma State turnovers, and it's been offensive rebounds they've given up here over the last few minutes that have helped this West Virginia offense. And then on Oklahoma State's other end, bad shot selection. Obviously, the turnovers have not helped. And this West Virginia defense has been locked in.
Oklahoma State, 25% shooting. They've missed 11 of the last 12 and have not scored in 6.5 minutes. Wright breaks the drought.
Basket by Wright.
It's a good drive. You know, you've got to match this physicality of West Virginia's defense by being aggressive. You've got to lean into it. Oklahoma State playing on their heels a little bit in this first half.
Lead still 16 for West Virginia, coming in 4-10 in Big 12 play. Bell muscles it up. Mitchell, a strong first half, gets the putback.
And another offensive rebound.
You talked about how much Mitchell needed to up his offensive game. He is up to 8 in this first half. Had double figures in his first 5 Big 12 games, but just under 7 points a game since. Wright for three. Bell, make sure Stevenson stays in bounds. Johnson takes it to the paint. 7th Mountaineer to score.
They're really going after Oklahoma State in the paint. And you could tell that was a problem in the first matchup. West Virginia could not get anything at the basket. Much different this second time around.
Asbury fades away. Yes, tough shot. The senior from Pflugerville, Texas, his first 2. To your point, Chris, in the first meeting, which saw Oklahoma State win January 12, points in the paint favor the Cowboys 34-12. The Mountaineers have 16 points in the paint already tonight. Bell to the paint. And just off the rim and then a foul. Mitchell will pick up his second.
Foul is called on Trey Mitchell, his second, team foul number 7.
The way this first half was going, I thought that was going in.
For the Mountaineers checking in, Emmett Matthews and
Bob Huggins told us earlier today on how they lost the game Saturday to Texas Tech, an 8-point lead with under 9 to go, couldn't hold on, said, I'm frustrated, the team is frustrated. What a response so far here on this Monday night in the first half.
Shooting one end.
Sure is. You know, they've played 27 games. 16 of them have been quad 1 games. And I think, you know, that obviously the Big 12, it's an advantage to be able to play that number of quad 1 games. The downside to that is you have a team that's 4-10 in the conference that certainly looks like a tournament team. Like I think if you put West Virginia in, for example, the ACC, you put them in the Pac-12, I mean, they're finishing in the top 3 in either of those conferences. And so the record is an eyesore, but you have to factor in just the number of quad 1 games that this team is playing. Same with Oklahoma State.
West Virginia went to Pitt in non-conference, beat them by 25 on the road.
Yeah, and that was second game of the year, and Pitt's a much different team than they were in the non-conference. But your point, no question, your point stands. And they played Purdue very well out in Portland.
Kedrian Johnson drives, got fouled.
Oklahoma State foul call on number 51.
John Michael Wright just picked up his second.
Team foul number 6.
It's a physical game between these two teams. Sure was the first time, and as Mike Boynton said earlier today, you have to expect a collision, many of them.
Just the 4th Mountaineer turnover, and then Oklahoma State gets it right back as Asbury throws it away.
You're just trying to do stuff out of what you're capable of doing. I mean, Asbury leading a break like that, obviously.
Checking in for Oklahoma State.
You know, your teammate's not open, and you're just trying to make a play. You're playing too quick.
10th Oklahoma State turnover as Wright comes out. A 16-point West Virginia lead as we approach a minute to go in the first. Johnson drives again. And it's Oklahoma State basketball. Oklahoma State's 1 of 11 from beyond the arc. Thompson and Wright, 2 of their best 3-point shooters, are on the bench. Asbury still on the floor. Chris Harris Jr. controls. Harris finds Smith. He'll go to the line again.
West Virginia foul call number 24.
Patrick Sumnick picks up his first.
That's his
I think if you're Mike Boynton, you're just trying to find something. Somebody to give you a spark. He's played the majority of this half with Caleb Boone on the bench. He's got Brown on the floor, and he's just searching for some life out of somebody.
Well, no one has stopped #1 South Carolina on the women's side, undefeated 27-0. They'll go to Knoxville, take on Tennessee, and Thursday night's women's basketball matchup on ESPN and the app. Gamecocks overall have won a program record 32 straight games. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern. South Carolina's with LSU, who was undefeated coming in. That wasn't long ago. Went on the road, beat UConn. Don Staley's Gamecocks unstoppable so far this season. Kedrian Johnson, 7 points in the first half. Under 10 to shoot. Here he comes. 2 more.
Kedrian Johnson.
Cowboys will hold for the final shot. All West Virginia so far. Nas Brown throws it away. Is there time for Johnson? Lays it in, no. But they'll count it as Asbury did get his hand on the ball. They rule goaltending with 0.3 of a second left.
Your halftime score, West Virginia.
We knew West Virginia would come in with a sense of urgency, but what a first 20 minutes, a 19-point lead.
Sure is, and it started with their defense. They have been locked in. And a lot of these issues with Oklahoma State created by the aggressive defense from West Virginia.
Coming up after the break, we'll join Kevin Nagandi, LaFonso Ellis, and Seth Greenberg in studio with our halftime report. You're watching ESPN's Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's. What a first half for West Virginia. Barely on the right side of the bubble, according to our bracketologist, Joe Lenardi. This win will do them wonders. 40-21, the halftime lead over Oklahoma State. And welcome back to Morgantown with Chris Patola. I'm David Salzman. Chris, this was 16-14 midway through the first half, and then all Mountaineers.
Yeah, about as good a half as you could ask for if you're Bob Huggins, and a lot of it was contributed by Oklahoma State. But it started with the balance for West Virginia offensively. 7 different guys scored. Kedrian Johnson and Eric Stevenson combined for 22. So the offense was playing well. But the other part of that was 26 points from either Oklahoma State turnovers or offensive rebounds. I mean, it's just really a nice job manufacturing points in those other ways. And I'll tell you what, I thought their defense really got after Oklahoma State, particularly in the half court.
West Virginia held the Cowboys to just 1 of 11 from beyond the arc, but also forced 11 turnovers, and the Cowboys just 3 assists in the game's first 20 minutes.
You got to control what you can control, and you should be able to control the defensive glass, and you got to play without turning the basketball over, because again, this is a West Virginia team that can struggle to score in the half court, but when you give them easy opportunities, it becomes an issue.
Johnson and Stevenson outscoring Oklahoma State in that first half. You see just the 7 of 23 shooting for the Pokes, just 3 field goals for the Cowboys in the last 14 and a half minutes. They have the ball first to begin half number 2. John Michael Wright, just 4 points in the first half. Who can spark this Cowboys offense? Caleb Boone. That's a good start to the second half for the Pokes.
They got to get him going. You got to be able to ride him a little bit in his second half. He did not play well against TCU and did not have a good first half in this game.
That's just his first 2 points. Stevenson for 3. His 4th of the night.
It's too easy. You're not going to be able to go under that. You have got to fight to get over the top to be able to contest that shot.
Still Oklahoma State basketball. Speaking of fight, Mike Boynton told us earlier today, we said we have to initiate the fight. That's been trouble so far.
This is not good defense. If you're Caleb Asbury, I mean, you're too far off against one of the better perimeter shooters in this league. And that's, I think, a microcosm of this Oklahoma State defense so far in this game.
Asbury challenges Bell, lost the battle. 20-point West Virginia lead, their biggest, and looking for more. Kedrian Johnson drives. Bell, 2 and a foul. Oh, West Virginia.
They're just doing work around the basket. They are the second best offensive rebounding team in the Big 12 behind Baylor. And it has absolutely made its impact tonight.
Caleb Boone just picked up his third. Despite the miss, a 22-point West Virginia lead.
I'm surprised by this. You know, Oklahoma State had a really good practice yesterday. They had a really good shoot today. The energy was good. I thought they were going to be better than this, and give West Virginia the credit.
Thompson finds Boone for the flush.
Basket by Boone.
Especially with Oklahoma State coming off those two tough losses at Kansas and at TCU. The Mountaineers, perhaps backs against the wall, 4-10 of the league coming in. They're playing like it. Stevenson pulls up. Asbury finds Newton.
And a good run by Newton.
Basket by Newton. Timeout.
Timeout called by Bob Huggins after Oklahoma State was able to get two on the break.
And Mike Boyden is laying into Caleb Boone. I mean, absolutely laying into him.
Fans, it's time to get on your feet.
It's nice to get a little transition layup, though.
Mountaineer Maniacs enjoying what they're seeing so far. West Virginia up 18 early second half. Fun SEC Big Ten Super Tuesday doubleheader coming up. Some of the top teams in the conference going at it. Texas A&M second in the league. They're a loss behind Alabama for first. They'll host Tennessee, followed by a Big Ten matchup. Indiana and Michigan State. Trace Jackson Davis has been lights out for the Hoosiers as they climb up the Big Ten standings.
Heart goes out to Michigan State and that community. You can't even imagine what they're going through.
And the impact Tom Izzo has had in that community, just being a voice. Many have said how important that is in East Lansing. Shot clock winding down. Three from the corner, Matthews. Wagee fouled with .3 on the shot clock.
And it's another offensive rebound, and it's obviously a weird shot because it's an air ball that ends up landing in Wagee's hands.
Bryce Thompson's second foul. He got 9 offensive rebounds now for the Mountaineers and gives West Virginia a fresh 20.
I mean, that's the thing, in a game like this, West Virginia has taken 12 more shots than Oklahoma State. They've had 12 more cracks at the basket. That's a big advantage for two offenses that can struggle at times.
Stevenson fades away. Wagee the tip. Mitchell. Still a fight for it. Taken away by the Pokes. Thompson from long range. Wagee, good box out and draws the foul. Cisse picks it up.
Oklahoma State foul on number 33, Musa Cisse. His first, team foul number 3.
Here's the tussle down low. (45-27) the West Virginia lead. Kedrian Johnson wants 2 more at 11 in the first half. Mountaineers have missed their last 5, but still up big. Asbury, oh, got the call. And Kedrian Johnson very much disagrees.
Foul is called on Kedrian Johnson. The second, team foul number 1.
Crowd doesn't like it either, no surprise.
At the line for Oklahoma State, Caleb Asbury, 3 shots.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That's not a foul.
Sends Asbury, an 85% free throw shooter, to the line. And Bob Huggins, I don't think Bert Smith could hear him, the one who blew the whistle, so he'll have a few words for Ray Natilli. Asbury will get one more. That was a foul on a three-point attempt. Asbury struggled tonight, 3 points. Has a three-pointer in 14 of his last 15 games, but not tonight, as the entire unit has struggled from beyond the arc. 1 for 12. Two of 3 for the senior from Pflugerville, Texas. Well, that was the third. We must have had a lane violation. We were unaware, and so make it 2 for 2, and now the boos get louder. After all that, Pokes are within 15. Mitchell. That'll get the crowd excited. The opposite of just before. Right for 3. Shot clock did not reset. Asbury called timeout.
Timeout called by Oklahoma State.
That's how you want to respond. If Oklahoma State's going to pick up, which they're going to have to try to do, got to try to do something here. Good response by West Virginia. Down Broadway on your head.
47-30, the West Virginia lead over Oklahoma State. Early second half. For Chris Patola, I'm David Salzman. Big Monday in Morgantown. Mountaineers 4-10 in Big 12 play coming in, and schedule doesn't get any easier. Look at their next two. They go to Allen Fieldhouse, then they have to deal with Hilton Magic, and then Kansas State is here in Morgantown for the regular season finale.
I mean, that's the reality. That's why the Texas Tech loss was so big, and why they've got to have this one here at home. They could end the year with 20 quad 1 games on their schedule.
Yeah, they likely will as they go through the conference tournament just before Selection Sunday. 5 quad 1 wins for West Virginia coming in. This will be a quad 2 win. Oklahoma State's net just ahead of 40. Shot clock was winding down, and that did not hit iron. A shot clock violation for Oklahoma State.
It's 2 games now. This offense for Oklahoma State has been a real struggle. And they played so well in the first half at home against Kansas.
Since then, they have been dominated. Another dunk, Wagee. All 3 of his field goals, just like that. Wagee. After the dunk, is that a technical foul? It is, for holding on to the rim.
Technical foul whistle against Wagee.
More boos from the crowd. Asbury connects in the free throw.
At the line for Oklahoma State, shooting 2, Caleb Asbury. That's the second team.
Well, it's a nice play. The T puts a damper on it because he regathers there. Good composure.
West Virginia, Jimmy Bell.
And then I don't think it's hanging on the rim. It's certainly yelling at Moussa Cisse, and I'm good with that technical. You can't just stand there and scream at an opponent's face.
Comes out, gets some encouragement from his teammates. A lot of smiles on the bench, but still plenty of time. West Virginia up 17. Right from the elbow. He struggled tonight.
They're getting nothing at the basket. You know, the degree of difficulty on these shots have been tough all night.
Stripping a steal, Asbury. Cowboys with numbers. Asbury takes it himself and scores. Rare easy bucket for Oklahoma State, though, all night. In fact, points off turnovers favor West Virginia by quite a bit. 19-3. Matthews for three. Got the roll. Over 1,200 points in his career. And he gets the nice bounce to get there.
I think that thing almost touched the top of the shot clock off the carom. It's been that kind of a night for West Virginia.
Kedrian Johnson called for the foul, his third.
Johnson, his third, team foul number 3. Checking in for Oklahoma State, number 2, Chris Harris.
This was 16-14 midway through the first. All Mountaineers since. Led by 19 at the break and up 18 right now.
And Emmett Matthews comes off this, and they're not going to guard him as a shooter there. And look how high that thing goes. Touches, my apologies, the bottom of the shot clock before it rings in.
Newton drives and draws the foul. Junior from District Heights, Maryland, to the line. Matthews first.
Team foul number 4.
It was a good bounce back, both for Emmett Matthews. His scoring numbers haven't been great today, but he's been active in the game. And Trey Mitchell, a nice little bounce back here for him. It's got to be tough for Trey Mitchell going back to Texas. You know, they gave him a real hard time. He did not play well in that game, and I think there's been some lingering effects after that. And he had been playing so well at the start of conference play.
Trey Mitchell is up to 10 points, first double-digit game since January 31st. Stevenson does get the timeout. West Virginia down to 1 remaining with 14:10 to go. West Virginia looking for a key win for their NCAA tournament hopes. Bob Huggins, third winningest head coach overall, second winningest active coach behind Jim Boeheim. His teams have participated in postseason play in 34 of 40 seasons, including 25 NCAA tournaments. They went number 26 here in Morgantown for their local hero in Bob Huggins. This win would be key in that. 20 days until Selection Sunday. Here's Mitchell. He just spoke of him, Chris. Solid offensive game so far. Works on Newton. Spins. Got the roll. And one.
You know, the other thing, too, with Mitchell, he was banged up for part of the year. He was sick at one point. And it's been all over the floor, David. I mean, he just, you know, again, he's really skilled. He's got good size at 6'9". Second on the team in made threes. Just a really skilled player who at times you wish he had a little more dog. He's got kind of a mellow personality. You wish he had a little more dog in him at times. He's had a heck of a game tonight.
13 now for Mitchell. His best offensive game in some time. Puts his team back up 19. Thompson got to the rim. Cisse the follow. Can Oklahoma State get a string of stops? Stevenson, 4 threes tonight. Got by Cisse and Asbury. Finds Toussaint in the corner. Asbury touched it last, out of bounds.
It's a killer. Even there, you have a hard time securing a defensive rebound. Nobody around you.
when you play every game in the league. I mean, Joe Lunardi has every Big 12 team under consideration for the NCAA tournament. Texas Tech now, the way they've been playing the last few weeks. I cannot imagine the grind, and now we're in late February where these teams are just trying to find all the energy they can. Asbury picks up this foul, reaching in.
Foul is called to number 5, Caleb Asbury. His first, team foul number 5.
Mentioned going down the stretch, West Virginia, tough schedule, Oklahoma State the same, and that's what it is. Texas Tech is now in Joe Lunardi's next 4 out. They didn't have a quad 1 or quad 2 win until January 30th, their comeback against Iowa State. But they have been rolling. They're 75th, and they need to be in the top 68. They've put themselves in position to make the NCAAs. You have 5 teams, top 3 seeds in Joe Lunardi's latest bracket. TCU a 5. And they're probably better than that when Mike Miles is healthy. Toussaint draws the foul.
Oklahoma State foul call to number 2, Chris Harris.
You know, my favorite part of the shoot-around with West Virginia today, we sat down with Coach Huggins, and you said to him, can you tell us a little something about Toussaint? And he said, it's in Arizona. So even despite the loss to Texas Tech, Coach Huggins having a little bit of fun. It was a lighter moment during the shoot-around today.
He's looked for some levity after what's been a tough stretch, and he then did praise Toussaint for what he's done on this team. He's one of their vocal leaders, led Iowa in steals and assists last season. 10 points a game coming in for Bob Huggins' Mountaineers, although he is scoreless tonight. Senior from the Bronx, New York, gets on the board. 9 players have scored for West Virginia. 47 of their 72 points Saturday came from 2 players. Much more balance for West Virginia tonight. Stevenson got his hand on the ball. Here he comes. Lays it in.
And it has started with their defense, David. I mean, their defense has been outstanding tonight, and it has helped their offense.
Thompson able to get down the floor. 3-point play opportunity. But the deficit is 18 for Oklahoma State.
I mean, there's just been no relent. You know, each time Oklahoma State's tried to get themselves back in this, West Virginia's had the response.
Stevenson has 16 points. He had 27 Saturday, but on 21 shots. Much more efficient tonight, 6 of 12. As Thompson buries the free throw. Oklahoma State outlasted West Virginia in the team's first meeting January 2nd. Different story so far in Morgantown. Mitchell looking to continue his hot offensive game. Fading away. Dives on the floor, has the basketball. Whistles blow and look out. First, Oklahoma State had to make sure a couple of players did not leave the bench and get into the scrum. Bryce Thompson's the last one to be helped up. And Eric Stevenson is asking the crowd to get loud, and they respond. Late February, NCAA tournament hopes on the line. And both teams getting at it in Morgantown.
Well, this one might take a minute to figure out. I mean, it's a really nice play there by Trey Mitchell. And then it becomes a test of manhood. You get in those scrums.
Our officiating crew looking at the scrum that occurred just before our timeout. A 58-41 West Virginia lead over Oklahoma State. Take another look. Joe Toussaint, Trey Mitchell. You'll see Trey Mitchell and Caleb Boone. That's what started it all.
Yeah, and then guys jumping in there, you know, look, this is sports. I mean, this is having played. Those things become a test of manhood, and you got to jump in there for your teammates. You certainly don't need to come running off the bench like Woody Newton did. I mean, he came all the way out onto the floor. But it was good to see this at the end. You know, both guys who started this whole thing, hugging it up, and all's good. We'll see how the officials sort this thing out, though.
Should anything be called, in your opinion, after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to have something there.
Brandon Tilley is coming over to us now.
All right. First, we got a foul on 22, diving on the foul. Okay, so we got a personal foul to start with on 22. Then we've got dead ball, contact technical fouls on 22 in the black and 3 in the white. Okay, those are going to offset. We don't shoot those. Shoot the 1-and-1 for him for 22 diving on him. Okay, and we've also got an ejection. 4 came off the bench. He's got to go, but there's no penalty other than he has to go because he didn't participate in it.
So Woody Newton has been kicked out for coming off the bench. Not sure how well you could hear Brandon Tilley, but I'll summarize. First, Caleb Boone called for a foul. Then Caleb Boone and Trey Mitchell called for offsetting technical fouls. No free throws from those. But Woody Newton, due to coming off the bench, is ejected.
Yeah, and this is, every player knows you do not do this. And there he is. I mean, he comes all the way over to the scrum, and then a coach has to come over there and pull him back. It's unacceptable by Woody Newton.
So the junior from District Heights, Maryland, is ejected. 4 points tonight. And so after all that, it will be a 1-and-1 for the initial foul, which triggered all this on Caleb Boone.
I think the officials sorted that out exactly how it should be. I think they handled that well. They got right in there, cleaned it up, and I don't think there's any doubt it was a foul on Caleb Boone. I think both players are responsible, certainly to a degree of technical foul level. And then the ejection of Woody Newton is absolutely appropriate.
And because Boone first picked up the foul, his 4th, then gets a technical, he's fouled out. So essentially, Oklahoma State's lost 2 players, not just Newton, but their leading scorer in Boone, who did struggle tonight, just 4 points. But an even bigger hill to climb now for Oklahoma State, down 17 with 11:56 to go. Well, the pressure on these teams. They play these rugged games in the Big 12, best conference in America. Every night is a challenge. And then with these 2 teams, of course, you see just where you are on the bubble. I think Oklahoma State will still be on the right side of the bubble, of course, if they can't come back here. But
yeah, I would say to that, though, there are a lot of teams playing on the bubble. You got to have cooler heads, man. Like, that's no excuse for what happened. And I understand emotions. I've been there. But if you're of your right mind, you're not going to do something that's going to put your team in a bad spot.
So Mitchell drains the front end of the 1-and-1. How great will it be for West Virginia if Mitchell can replicate this performance down the stretch for the Mountaineers?
It'd be huge.
15 for Mitchell. $19-point West Virginia lead. Tyreek Smith hounded. Thompson spins, and they'll call Tucson for the reach-in, despite the seniors' protests.
And Trey Mitchell is saying to Tucson, I've got him. You don't have to reach behind like that. It was such a great defensive possession by West Virginia. Up 19, they are still all over the place.
Checking in for the Mountaineers, Jimmy Bell.
You made a comment about Oklahoma State a shoot-around earlier today. Played loose, played together. When we watched West Virginia, quiet, which is okay. But also you sense a little frustration, I thought, here and there. And yet they've come together, obviously, so well so far tonight with this big lead at home. Thompson coming in, 17 a game in his last 4, but like many of his teammates, struggling offensively tonight. He drains both free throws. Kansas transfer is up to 8.
I'll tell you what, the free throw line has been no advantage, even though they've had a massive advantage at the line. It's been obviously not a huge help to Oklahoma State's offense.
The Cowboys are 38% shooting. Mountaineers 47% and 6 of 14 from long range. Toussaint short. Keon Williams puts it in. Crowd wanted to walk, but the freshman from Jonesboro, Arkansas gets his first 2. Still plenty of time for the Cowboys to make a run. Whistle away from the ball, and Thompson will pick up the foul, his 3rd.
Oklahoma State foul call number 1. Bryce Thompson, his 3rd. Team foul number 9.
Coming up at 9 Eastern over on ESPN, huge Big 12 matchup in Fort Worth. Jalen Wilson, number 3 Kansas, take on Mike Miles, who is back, number 24 TCU. Can Kansas get revenge for TCU going up to Lawrence, whipping the Jayhawks by 23 last month? In this 9 Eastern ESPN, and what should be a fun one. 60-45, the West Virginia lead here, and foul call on Jimmy Bill Jr. Free throws coming, and the Cowboys a chance to get it to within 13. It'd be the closest they've been in some time.
On the line for Oklahoma State, Tyreek Smith. 1 and the bonus. Checking in for the Mountaineers, James O'Connor.
Tyreek Smith, junior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Texas Tech transfer. 5 of 7 from the line today. Cowboys are 17 of 20 from the line tonight.
A 13-point game, you know, and they're going to have to do it without Woody Newton and Caleb Boone.
West Virginia led Texas Tech by 8 with 8:41 left just 2 days ago. Allowed an 11-0 run. Red Raiders will win by 6. Bigger hill to climb for the Cowboys tonight. Matthews drives and draws the foul.
Number 23, Tyreek Smith called for the personal, his first.
I mean, now we're at the point in this game where there's a foul every time down.
Emmett Matthews at the line for the Mountaineers with 2 shots.
Smith picks this one up. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. We have 10:25 remaining.
And I'm a fan of calling the first foul. Like, I thought there was a push-off on that drive. I thought Emmett Matthews pushed off to get to his spot, and then he certainly got fouled when he got to the rim. But we get into these games, and I feel like I said the same thing in the last game between Oklahoma State and West Virginia. You've got to call the first foul.
Matthews makes both. Lead back up to 15. Thompson off balance. Smith saves, then into the hands of Stevenson. Here he comes. Matthews from the corner. Asbury got it knocked out of bounds by Stevenson.
You know, if you're West Virginia, I get it, you want to stay aggressive, but against this press with the lead, you really want to treat them as 2 possessions. Get the ball over. If you don't have a layup or something at the rim, pull it out and run offense.
More free throws coming. Stevenson called for the push.
Whistled on West Virginia's number 10, Aaron
just his first foul.
You know, Eric Stevenson acts like he's never committed a foul. I mean, after every single thing, he's got some sort of...
Bob Huggins is protesting this one.
And maybe he did. Maybe he's right on this one. But tell you what.
Asbury, Texas Tech transfer, buries the front end. Let's take a look at tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch. It has to do with the big matchup in Fort Worth. Jalen Wilson, Mike Miles Jr. Amazing numbers they put up for their respective teams.
It's amazing how the presence of a guy in a lineup can lift a team. And I think, look, TCU was good before he went down. Obviously struggled a little bit, and it didn't just have to do with Miles. Not having Eddie Lampkin hurt them as well.
More free throws again. Thompson fouls Matthews.
But TCU is fast. They play at an unbelievable tempo. They're outstanding defensively. They'll turn you over. They're a very good offensive rebounding team. And of course, Kansas, as we know, is playing their best basketball of the season. Should be a good one.
With a healthy Mike Miles, do you see TCU matching Kansas, Texas, Baylor, that upper echelon of the Big 12?
Yeah, I see that for sure. You know, I had their game, TCU, a couple times this season, and the thing that really, I think, stands out is their ability to convert from defense to offense. They're really fast in the open floor.
Yeah, they lead the nation in fast break points. 7-7 in the league, but only won one game with Mike Miles out. His return Saturday, they put up 100 on this Oklahoma State team. Most points that the Cowboys have given up in quite some time. This is an Oklahoma State team, takes pride in their defense, struggled the last 3 games in that category, and Wright continues to struggle offensively, 0 of 6 from long range, and then he commits the foul.
Oklahoma State foul ball number 13. Keon Williams is first.
Keon Williams first.
Joe
21 fouls this half, 9:37 to go. And Joe Toussaint at the line for the second time tonight. West Virginia coming off such a tough loss 2 days ago to Texas Tech after being blown out at Texas, at Baylor. Look, no road trip is fun for any Big 12 team, but West Virginia, the travel they have to have just to go to any other Big 12 school. They have loved playing at home this season. 11 of their 15 wins. Looking good right now for number 12. They're back up 17. Wright fires. Smith fights for the offensive board. Williams, yes. His second field goal.
It's a big-bodied freshman. Only playing spot minutes, but he's going to get some run here with guys out of this game for Oklahoma State.
Boone is fouled out. Woody Newton ejected. Stevenson, 2 more. Up to 18. Oklahoma State just cannot get stops. Asbury well short. Matthews drives. Second chance, yes. Charging call.
Offensive foul, whistle number 5.
You know, you mentioned giving up 100 to TCU. This is the Oklahoma State defense that's been elite all year. And it just hasn't been that way in the last 2 games. And then You know, again, Caleb Asbury in the open floor, just trying to do something he's not really capable of doing.
Stevenson drawing the charge, continuing his great play at home. 27.5 a game, his last 4 here in Morgantown coming in. He has 18 tonight. Under 8 to go. Stevenson for 3. Up to 21. Lights out in Morgantown, as is the entire team. Kick ball. 73-51. Eric Stevenson doing it offensively.
Well, he's putting it on the ground, too. It's not just that 3 ball. Strong drive, sheds the defender. And then this is what he does best. You give him that much room over the 7-1 footer. It's in your eye, Musa.
Happy 60th birthday to Charles Barkley. For more Black History storytelling and coverage, stream the Black History Always collection on ESPN+.
Chuck at a fish fry. It was made for the Bob Huggins fish fry.
He was here cheering on Auburn against West Virginia, part of the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Mountaineers held off the Tigers that day.
I had a chance to go to the fish fry last year.
Yeah.
I was doing West Virginia, Kansas here, and the guest at that fish fry was Bill Self. It's a great event. It was the first time I had been there, David, and it's just fantastic. And what Coach Huggins and his crew has done with that event and what this community's done with that has been tremendous.
The love for Bob Huggins here. Of course, born here, played basketball here. First coaching job was here as a graduate assistant. Trey Mitchell off the glass and in. But around the coaching community, and you know this, how beloved Bob Huggins is. And I know you don't want him to beat you when you're playing against him, but I think pretty much any coach is a fan of his. And if he gets to back to the NCAA tournament, there's going to be a lot of smiles across college basketball.
Sure will.
He's been to 25 of them. You see here, one of 2 West Virginia coaches ever to reach the Final Four. I mean, this is just here at West Virginia. 341 wins, 541 games, 10 NCAA tournament appearances out of those 25 overall. You know what else, Chris? 53 of the last 54 seniors on the West Virginia men's basketball team, they've graduated on time or early since 2004.
Well, he's a good man. He's about the whole person he always has been. It's been unbelievable for the game. He's one of those, you know, as the Roy Williams and the Coach K's and these folks retire, he is one of the standards and has been for a long time. One of the remaining standards in that coaching profession.
His 16th season here in Morgantown, inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame last year. Told us how frustrated he was and the team was losing the late lead to Texas Tech 2 days ago. What a response. Stevenson continuing his efficient play. 8 of 14 from the floor and then draws the foul to go to the line.
Eric Stevenson with 2 shots.
Bob Huggins Mountaineers, maybe 641 away from getting a key 5th win in Big 12 play. Be a quad 2 win. And then their last 3 of the regular season, all quad 1 games. Means they'll have 24 games against quad 1 or quad 2 opponents before the conference tournament. Stevenson continuing his great play at home, up to 23 as he connects on both free throws. Thompson, nice drive, lays it in.
Bryce Thompson.
You know, he hit the first shot of the game. And usually when Bryce Thompson hits a bucket early, you know, he can kind of get going, get cooking like he did in the first half against Kansas in Stillwater. Just hasn't really been his day.
Approaching 6 minutes to go. Stevenson hangs. Got it back. Shot clock did not reset. Under 5. Okonkwo. Here comes Williams. And he took an extra step.
And he had Bryce Thompson on the wing.
Oklahoma State, Chris, is -10 in the turnover department.
Yeah, that's the game. I mean, we said it at the halftime. I mean, that was the game in the first half. The offensive rebounds for West Virginia were a problem as well. Just hasn't been the same Oklahoma State defense in the last 2 games.
They allowed 56 at Iowa State, 1 in Ames, and since then allowing 87, 100 at TCU Saturday. Okonkwo lays it in, and now 79 to West Virginia with 5.5 to go. Slam dunk and a foul. That's Cisse.
You know, and if you're James Okonkwo, why? I mean, you're well after this dunk is already, I mean, just let it go. You're up 21 points. There's 5:20 left. Let the clock run. The clock is your enemy at this point, not Moussa Cisse.
You'll hear it from the crowd after not even touching iron on the free throw. Back to the Oklahoma State defense. They gave up 89 to Texas January 24th, but that was with Cisse out. These last 3 games, they've allowed the most points to an opponent with Cisse on the floor. He's one of the best defenders in the league. Stevenson lobs, too high for Okonkwo. Right, offensive foul.
Offensive foul, whistled on Oklahoma State's number 4.
Johnson draws the 4th on John Michael Wright.
He's taking a couple of those like that tonight.
Johnson has not scored in this half. Obviously hasn't had to. 11 in the first. We'll repeat. Johnson and Stevenson at 47 of their 72 Saturday in the loss to Texas Tech. Much more balance from West Virginia here today. I already mentioned Trey Mitchell with 17 points. Most he's had in Big 12 play this year. With the ball now. And draws the foul. He'll go to the line.
A whistle on number 13, Keon Williams, his second.
If you're Mike Boynton, you're seeing your team lose their 3rd straight, and frankly in dominating fashion. If you count the second half against Kansas, first half is much closer. What's the message he and his staff have to give to their team after this one?
They got to get back to defending. I mean, I'd hate to belabor the point, but since you asked, I mean, they've look, it's not a skilled offensive team, and they have been plagued by turnovers. Their offense has been an issue for a bulk of the year, but their offense can't hurt their defense. And I think what's happening is their offense is putting too much pressure on their defense. The turnovers, the offensive rebounds make them have to defend longer possessions, and it can wear on a team.
You see how the defense has all of a sudden become an issue for Oklahoma State after being quite dominant in their first 12. John Michael Wright to the line after drawing the foul.
John Michael Wright at free throw line for Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State will head home after this one. We'll talk about West Virginia's schedule down the stretch. At Kansas, at Iowa State, then hosting Kansas State. Back-to-back home games in Stillwater coming up for the Pokes, but against Kansas State and then Baylor. It was dominant in the first half at Kansas Saturday, and total 180 in the second half as Kansas rolled to a double-digit win in Lawrence.
You know, we saw Caleb Boone over on the bench there. They got to get him back to playing well. You know, they rode him in the first half against Kansas in that game in Stillwater, and he has not been right for two straight games.
Yeah, to your point, had 27 in the loss. Fouled out today, just 4 points for Boone. Only got 2 shots, but in just 6 minutes of work because of the foul trouble.
You start moving up that scouting report with how well he's played, and it becomes a different world.
Approaching 4 minutes to go. Mitchell stays in front of Thompson, who forces it. Foul on the floor. And there'll be free throws coming up for the Pokes after a timeout. Been wondering if the run will come, but it hasn't, as West Virginia offensively dominant tonight at home. Eric Stevenson shaken up.
Video reminding our audience, top 25 women's showdown on the farm will be coming your way on ESPN2 after the conclusion in Morgantown. Right now, the start of number 17 UCLA at number 3 Stanford. Over on ESPN News right now. Back to Dave and Chris, guys.
Thank you, Kevin. Big Pac-12 women's matchup coming up. Here in the Big 12 on the men's side, West Virginia on their way to 5-10 in the league. Oklahoma State will drop to 7-8. Both these teams on the right side of the bubble, according to Joe Lunardi's latest bracket. West Virginia, one of the last 4 in. Oklahoma State, one of the last 4 byes. Kansas and TCU just underway on ESPN. Jayhawks and Longhorns of Texas tied for first in the Big 12 at 10-4. But the way Kansas has been playing now, so good their last 4. Are they one of your top teams to maybe win it all again?
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly capable. I mean, certainly if they're a 1 seed, that would be indicative of that. And I think their talent level's good. Their offense, they're getting a little bit more balance than they've had. And then I think defensively, especially if they could start growing their bench, I think defensively, the energy they showed in the second half against Baylor, certainly national championship level stuff.
We've had back-to-back national champions 3 times the last 51 years. Kansas lost a lot of players from their national title team last year, and Bill Self has their team in the thick of it again. They got dominated at Iowa State a couple of weeks ago. They've been so good since. Winners of 4 straight and a big one in Fort Worth just underway. And how about the job Texas has done? Of course, with all that happened just a couple of months ago, and with Rodney Terry as their interim head coach, you see them tied with Kansas. They'll host the Jayhawks regular season finale. Tough schedule before that, but hoping for the chance for that Big 12 crown themselves.
30 fouls in the second half is how the Big 12 gets its reputation. In a 20-point game, by the way.
Trey Mitchell says, hey, it's my best offensive game in Big 12 play. He takes the free throws. He's up to 20. And obviously a welcome addition to this offense. Double figures his first 5 Big 12 games, just under 7 points a game since. And a breakout performance by the senior from nearby Pittsburgh, PA. Asbury drives, and another whistle.
West Virginia foul called on number 32, James Okonkwo.
Okonkwo picks up his 3rd. Our college basketball Wednesday doubleheader starts in Gainesville, 7 Eastern. Colin Castleton in Florida hosting Kentucky. Oscar Tshiebwe and the Wildcats. What a great couple of wins last week. At Mississippi State, home to Tennessee. Again, that's at 7 Eastern. And then Armando Bacot in North Carolina take on Notre Dame in South Bend. That on ESPN and the app. So, one of the most common questions across college basketball, Chris Patola. What is up with North Carolina? 0-9 in quad 1 games.
Well, I don't think they're a very good team, and I think we keep trying to figure out, how are they going to turn the corner? When are they they're just not a good basketball team, and I think part of it is before you can fix any X and O issues, you got to fix the dynamic problem they have, and I just don't think they have functioned well together. And then from a basketball standpoint, they just don't shoot it well enough, and offensively, they have not functioned well enough to be consistently good. It's been a real thing to watch this year.
Slam dunk. Trey Mitchell continues his great performance. Back to North Carolina. They have 1 win against a projected tourney team. That was at home against North Carolina State, who knocked off the Tar Heels yesterday. Look at their resume as Asbury buries the three. By the way, that ends a drought of 16 straight missed threes by Oklahoma State, and now Mike Boynton calls timeout. But much like these teams in the Big 12, North Carolina, plenty of chances for NCAA tournament resume wins, and they just have not been able to come up with it. .228 remaining second half, and an 84-65 lead for West Virginia over Oklahoma State. The Pokes will head home. They'll have Kansas State and Baylor coming up, in West Virginia to the road at Allen Fieldhouse, at Hilton to take on Iowa State. And so this game so important for them, because I know we're not supposed to really focus on conference record when you're looking at an NCAA tournament resume. 4-11 though, a bit of an eyesore. But this win tonight for them, so important for West Virginia.
Yeah, critical, I would argue. You know, because we showed the rest of their schedule. You know, for example, they got to go on the road to Allen Fieldhouse this weekend. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. So you had the last game against Texas Tech that they were up late in that game, and they don't end up winning that here in Morgantown. And then you had this game tonight against, you know, again, a team you're competing with on the bubble. And those are the ones, not only home games, but teams that are also on that bubble. You got to win those games. And they showed up, man, from the opening tip. This has been all West Virginia.
We asked Bob Huggins, is this a must-win? He said, well, every game's a must-win. But the importance of this win just feels so much. Again, when I came in, you mentioned losing that lead to Texas Tech, and with the rugged schedule coming up, this is one you think maybe they had to have, and they're going to take it home. Bob Huggins' Mountaineers up 19 with 2:28 remaining. When you look at every team's remaining schedule in the Big 12, all 10 teams under consideration by Joe Lunardi to make the NCAA tournament. How surprised are you, or are you surprised at all with what Texas Tech has done these last couple of weeks to get into the tournament conversation?
Yeah, not surprised. They're a young group, and I think a few of those guys are starting to grow up. And then as they, you know, Pop Isaacs is back, Bardos Amack has gotten a little bit of continuity here. I had that game, they came back down 23 to Iowa State, and you saw a glimpse there. You know, their defense, their ability to finish at the rim was huge.
That win over Iowa State was their first quad 1 or quad 2 win of the year, and it came January 30th. So what a week they had. They knocked off Texas at home and then rallied from 8 down late here 2 days ago to defeat West Virginia. And they are in that tournament conversation. Number 75, according to Joe Lunardi today. And of course, you have to make the top 68, but they'll certainly have their chances with their remaining Big 12 schedule. John Michael Wright draws this foul with 1:40 to go.
You know, those types of fouls, they are not like we're trying to fight still in this game. Like your opportunity to fight was in the first half, was, you know, starting the second half. A minute 40 left in a 19-point game, fouling somebody out at midcourt. I don't know about that foul.
Mike Boynton admitted to us, says we talk NCAA tournament all the time. And look, they're probably still in with this loss, right? I mean, they got 16 wins. They're 7-8 in the best conference in America. But talking about how West Virginia perhaps needed this win after losing their last 3. Now the Pokes will face similar circumstances. 3 straight losses heading into their game on Saturday against Kansas State. And Bryce Thompson is holding his right hamstring after drawing that foul. Kedrian Johnson's fouled out. In the stands, Bryce Thompson is sitting down and has to be helped up by the Oklahoma State training staff. And goodness gracious, let's hope it's not as bad as it looks right now, because he's our second leading scorer, second leading assist man. Junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, one of the leaders on this Oklahoma State team.
Checking in for Oklahoma State, number 12.
He's going to stay on the floor. Now he'll be taken out. I thought he would. 90 seconds to go, and their team down 20. as he still holds that right hamstring as he heads to the bench. .130 remaining, 85-65, the West Virginia lead over Oklahoma State. Just taking another look at Bryce Thompson getting shaken up here.
Yeah, he grabs that thing immediately.
Shooting the free throws, 23.
Tyreek Smith will shoot the free throws for Bryce Thompson. West Virginia in their loss at Oklahoma State January 2nd. Just 37% shooting. They just had 9 assists. 46% from the floor today. 7 of 16 from beyond the arc. Great turnaround for the group from Morgantown. Mitchell. That would have been his easiest 2 of the night, but misfires. John Michael Wright, well short.
One minute to play.
1 minute remaining. West Virginia up 19 at the half. Never allowed Oklahoma State to get back in it in the second half of play.
No, this was impressive. Started with their defense.
Smith the block of Matthews, 5 to shoot.
And you wonder if this can start to build some momentum. You know, it's obviously not going to be easy to win in Allen Fieldhouse this weekend, but you wonder if West Virginia gets a little momentum.
They'll go to Kansas, then Iowa State a week from now. Well, that's how it's gone for Oklahoma State. 3 shots around the rim, and Nas Brown finally finishes it off. West Virginia, from the midway point of the first half, dominant. And after this crowd 2 days ago went home with such disappointment as the Mountaineers could not hold on against Texas Tech, much different story here on Big Monday as Bob Huggins' West Virginia squad knocks off Oklahoma State 85-67.
And that's the ball game. Your final score, West
For Chris Patola and our entire ESPN crew, I'm David Salzman saying so long for Morgantown, West Virginia. College basketball continues next with women's Pac-12 action. UCLA and Stanford. Let's send it out to Maples Pavilion in Stanford, California.